the first step is that we see what's called a cue, or a trigger, which in my case was the milkshake. It can be a picture of one or the real thing. Now, when we see this sugary cue or trigger, a chemical called dopamine is released in our brain. This is an evolutionary urge when sweetness was rare. So when we saw it, our brain said, get that, because you need it for quick energy and to feel good. Now, the next step is that we get the sugary item. We bring it to our mouth and we taste its sweetness. It's then that chemicals called opioids, beta endorphins are released, and we feel terrific. Sugar lights up the same reward areas as nicotine, cocaine, and sex. But it doesn't last long. Now, if some of us eat sugary foods often enough and establish this happy feeling of reward, it can create subconscious or mindless habits, which are easily triggered by more images of sugary foods. Throw into the mix that the fructose half of sugar also affects our appetite control centres, plus the glucose half affects our moods. And suddenly, we have a very volatile combination on our hands.
One of the very interesting emerging findings in this literature is the more you eat high sugar foods, the more you're going to desire high sugar foods and want to continue eating them.
Give me that old-fashioned morphine.
This desire to want to keep eating more sugary foods sounds a lot like addictive behaviour.
Give me that old-fashioned morphine.
Serge Ahmed, who's now in Bordeaux in France, published a really cool study where he basically showed that rats will work harder for sugar than they will for cocaine.
Unlike the drug dealer who is squired away someplace hiding, the food giants are in your face everywhere you go.
In the boardrooms of these food giants, addiction is a dirty word. When it comes to obesity and illness, the food industry have always argued that people need to take personal responsibility for their food choices.
When it comes to eating, fat people are basically very stupid.
But you see, I was away this weekend, and it is difficult in friends' houses.
Okay, Mrs. Wright,
I can't
no
say
more chocolates.
all the meat